The idea you believe in most is the one other people will hate first. And that's not a coincidence. There's a belief most people carry without thinking. If an idea is good, others will recognize it. If it's genius, it will be celebrated. So when someone shoots it down, you assume maybe you're wrong. You go back, refine it, try to make it more palatable. But here's what nobody tells you about validation. The people who reject your idea aren't rejecting it because it's bad. They're rejecting it because it doesn't fit inside the world they already understand. Think about the pattern. A comic book creator once pitched a character who was a teenager, had personal problems, and stuck to walls. His publisher said it was the worst idea he'd ever heard. People hate spiders. Teenagers can only be sidekicks. Superheroes don't have personal problems. Every reason given was logical. Every reason was based on what was already known. And every reason was completely wrong. That character became one of the most recognizable icons in history. But if the creator had listened to the people who knew better, Spider-Man would have never existed. That story is not unique. It repeats everywhere. In business, in science, in every field where something new was born. The people who are supposed to know, the experts, the gatekeepers, the ones who have seen it before, they are almost always the last to recognize something truly original. Not because they're stupid, because their expertise is built on the past. They know what worked. They know what people want because they've seen it. But a genuinely new idea doesn't look like anything they've seen. It looks like a mistake. Here's why this happens. Human beings are pattern matching machines. You don't process reality directly. You process it through categories you already have. When someone presents a new idea, your brain immediately tries to place it into an existing box. If it doesn't fit, the brain signals confusion, then dismissal. This isn't a flaw in logic. It's a survival mechanism. But it makes most people terrible judges of originality. They don't evaluate ideas on potential. They evaluate them on familiarity. And familiarity feels safe. Safety feels right. So when you share your idea and people react with skepticism, you have to ask yourself a hard question. Are they seeing something you're missing? Or are they just uncomfortable because your idea doesn't fit their mental map? The answer isn't always obvious, but there are signs. The person who dismisses your idea with logical sounding objections is often the one who can't point to a specific flaw. They say things like, "That's not how it's done," or "People won't go for that," or "It's too risky." Notice what they don't say. They don't say your idea is impossible. They say it's unconventional. And unconventional is not a flaw. It's the entire point. What you need to understand is that most people are not neutral judges. They're invested in the status quo. Their sense of security depends on things staying recognizable. Your idea, if it's truly new, threatens that. Not because it's dangerous, because it exposes that the way things are isn't the only way. It forces them to confront the possibility that they've been doing things the comfortable way, not the best way. And that confrontation is painful, so they attack the idea instead of examining themselves. This is why you can't rely on external approval to determine what's worth pursuing. The people who love you will tell you to be careful. The people who respect you will tell you it's been tried before. The people who care about you will tell you to be realistic. All of this sounds like wisdom. Most of it is fear dressed up in sensible clothing. The question you have to answer is not whether others believe in your idea. The question is whether you can live with the alternative. Because the cost of abandoning something you genuinely believe in is not just a missed opportunity. It's a slow erosion of trust in yourself. Every time you override your own conviction to accommodate someone else's comfort, you tell yourself that your judgment is less reliable than theirs. And over time, that becomes a habit that leaves you living someone else's life There's a reason the Spider-Man story didn't end with the rejection. The creator put the character in the final issue of a dying magazine. No one cared what went into it because the magazine was already dead. There was nothing to lose. And that's the tactical insight. When you have an idea that others don't support, you don't need to convince them. You just need to find a way to test it without their permission. A version that doesn't require approval. You bypass the gatekeepers entirely. You let the thing exist in the world, and then you watch what happens. The market, the audience, reality itself, those are the only judges that matter. The publisher's opinion didn't matter. What mattered was that readers bought the issue. They responded to something the experts couldn't see. That's the pattern you need to look for. The rejection is almost always based on how the idea fits into existing structures. The success, if it comes from how it resonates with actual human experience. Those are two completely different criteria, and they rarely align. So if you're waiting for the structure to approve your idea before you act on it, you're asking the wrong people the wrong question. They don't know. They can't know because they're evaluating it based on the past, and your idea is about the future. This doesn't mean every rejected idea is genius. Most ideas are genuinely bad, but the difference between a bad idea and a breakthrough is often just a matter of timing and persistence. The bad idea is one you abandon because you can't see a path forward. The breakthrough is one you keep alive because something inside you insists it matters, even when you can't prove it. That insistence is not arrogance, it's intuition. And intuition is not mystical. It's accumulated experience that hasn't yet been turned into language. Your mind has processed more patterns than you can articulate. When an idea feels right despite all opposition, there's usually a reason. You just can't explain it yet, and you don't have to. This is where the real work begins. You have to separate your idea from the reactions it gets. You have to hold it steady while everyone around you shakes their head. You have to be willing to be wrong in public, to look foolish, to go against the people who have your best interests at heart. Because if you're right, it won't matter what they said. If you're wrong, you'll learn something valuable and move on. But if you never try, you'll spend years wondering what might have been, and that wondering is worse than any failure. The moment you stop asking for permission to pursue what matters to you, something shifts. You stop negotiating your vision down to something others can digest. You stop apologizing for thinking differently. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided you're wrong. And you stop building, not because you're arrogant, but because you understand that no one else can see what you see. They can't. They're not you. They haven't lived your experiences, noticed your patterns, felt your urgency. Their opinion is based on their life, not yours. And their life is not the test for your idea. Think about what you're holding right now. The thing you've been told is impractical, unrealistic, or just not worth the effort. The project you've shelved because someone said it wouldn't work. The direction you've avoided because it seemed too risky. That thing might be your Spider-Man, or it might not. But the only way to know is to put it out there in some form, however small, and let the world respond. Not your friends, not your family, not the experts, the world, the actual audience you're trying to reach. They will tell you the truth, not in words, but in attention, in engagement, in the quiet signal that something resonated. And if it does, you'll know. If it doesn't, you'll know that too. But either way, you'll have moved from the realm of speculation to the realm of reality. And that's where everything changes. The ideas that people hate are often the ones that matter most. Not because hate is a sign of quality, but because real originality always creates friction. The friction is not a bug, it's a feature. It's the resistance of the old world against the new world trying to emerge. You don't need to fight that resistance. You just need to work around it. Create a space where your idea can live without permission. Test it in a place where no one is watching. Let it prove itself on its own terms. And when it works, don't say I told you so. Just keep building, because the satisfaction of creating something real, something that came from you and survived the doubt, that's the only validation that matters. And it's the one thing no one can give you and no one can take away.